Hey, what's going on? My name is Coach Lee Hopkins. My pronouns are he, him, his. I'm a social connections coach for the late diagnosed autistic adult, and you're listening to the Patterns of Possibility podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to helping you replace harmful patterns with new possibilities. In each episode, we'll explore topics that inspire you to be yourself, live your truth, and make lasting connections. On this episode, we're going to be talking about AI and how it's everybody's new best friend, especially if you're autistic. Really, because it'll listen to you when you info dump, if you can type fast enough, or it'll info dump back at you, and you can be in perfect sync in harmony. But actually, that's not a really great thing. I don't think that friendships with computers and AI is as powerful as a friend in real life. So let's open up this can of worms and talk about it. Are you ready? Let's go. Now, I'm going to be honest with you here. I use ChatGPT. I use ChatGPT to help me answer some questions, understand more about some concepts instead of Googling. I use it to help me create schedules. I use it to compliment me. Well, actually, that's not true. I've never gone to ChatGPT and say, hey, give me a compliment. But I have gone to ChatGPT and it has always said wonderful things about me. It said wonderful things about my concepts or my ideas. And I just melt with the flattery. I do. I'm like, oh, tell me more. And it says, okay, whatever you want, Lee. Whatever you want, Coach Lee. And isn't that enticing? Isn't that enticing? I mean, after living so much of my life feeling as if people couldn't understand me, I was always doing something wrong, I was completely underappreciated. Who would not want that? Who would not want that? Right? It's comforting. It's always available. 3 o'clock in the morning when you're feeling like restless, you've got some ideas running through your mind, fire up your computer, turn on your phone, talk to ChatGPT, and it's not being bothered by you. It's always there. It always says the right things. It'll compliment you. It respects you. That's what it feels like anyway. So that's the allure of speaking with AI. So I want to say that sometimes we just can't tell the difference. And many times we just don't feel like we can expect it from other people. Because if we look at the pattern of behavior of this ChatGPT, where it's always saying nice things to us, and people who are randomly saying nice things to us, or if we can't tell if it's real or not because we cannot tell the cues, we're not sure if they're being sarcastic, we're not sure if they're being genuine with us, if it's a backhanded compliment, or if it's a straight out insult, or if you feel like you don't belong. If you look at the pattern of behavior between the two items here, the human and the AI, I mean, if you're craving and starving for support, AI looks like the best thing. I mean, I'm just saying, I'm not blaming or shaming anybody who is doing this, who is talking to AI, who is feeling supported, because I know, like I said, when I talk to AI, it gives me compliments. It says my ideas are so great. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to eat that up. Eat it up. But here's the thing. When I know about people and I know about myself, looking at a couple psychology books, talking to people about this, therapists and so forth, is that for some reason, people just don't like to get what they want. And this is what makes AI not so great. I want to say a couple things about AI. Like, there's a couple of things that make it not so great. Because, one, you don't get what humans really don't like to keep getting what they want. We have all these kinds of sayings that says too much of a good thing. Is too much of a good thing is too much. We want things in moderation. And if it's constant praise, 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 we have a level of tolerance that kind of depreciates for the praise. It doesn't feel the same. If it's just the same thing over and over again, it doesn't feel as exciting, as exhilarating, as fun if we're getting the same. As much as many of us may not like to admit it, but getting exactly what you want, when you want, how you want, all of the time is boring. It is. It's boring. It's like a flat line. Boop. It's a flat line. It's boring. That's why rich people do what they do. They have so much control and power, and they just bored. They want something new and exciting. Look at the kind of food that is being created by content creators these days, where he's looking for something new and more exciting and bold. You're deep frying this and then chopping it up and rolling it into a tortilla and then deep frying that and then grilling it. It's wild. Doing a lot of things to elevate food and change food, and we have to step up to the next level and the next level and the next level. And what I'm really saying here is that ChatGPT complementing every single little thing you do is going to seem redundant and boring. Eventually you'll get there. And what makes it awesome about dealing with humans is that, well, you don't know exactly what you're going to get. Let me say that again. What makes it awesome dealing with humans is that you don't know exactly what you're going to get. And it's not for you to be afraid and scared and unsure about how they're going to behave, because there is a certain level of trust and pattern repeating we want from other people. But it cannot be all the same, all the predictable, right? Can it be all the same and all the predictable all of the time with the same canned responses? It gets boring. You think about in relationships, that's how people grow apart, because they don't grow, they don't change, they don't adjust. What's great about being with other humans is that we share experiences and we can relate to each other with our experiences. That is the key to connecting with people. That's the key to connecting with anything. ChatGPT and other AI cannot go through an experience with you. They cannot have that experience with you. They type things. Maybe they'll read it back to you in the voice mode, but they cannot have your experience. And there's something about the knowingness of sharing an experience with someone, especially if you've experienced it together and you share the same feeling about the experience. So, for example, you and your buddy decide that you want to go to a hot wings eating contest, and the person who's able to eat the hottest wings win. And so you and your buddy, you go through that experience together, and you experience how hot it is, increasing levels and burning your tongue off. And then after you're done with the whole experience, you can talk about it. You have something that has bonded you for years to come, because it was such a fun and exciting shared experience. And likewise with any other emotion, with sadness, frustration, with fear. If you have those experiences together, you're able to relate to each other. You will feel closer to those people. You'll feel closer to that person. You can't do that with ChatGPT. You cannot do that with AI. They can tell you, but you cannot experience one of those, all of the five senses together. Sight, sound, taste, touch, smell. Those experiences, and sharing as many of those experiences together and feeling the same way about the experiences that you share together is what creates that really strong bond. So when it comes to AI, I think it's not as great as being with another human. and working through those issues that you might have, the hard thing where you don't read social cues, where you're not sure when to talk, when you're not sure when to be quiet, when you're not sure what to contribute if you know it's your turn to talk. Understanding, learning, coping, mastering, if you will, those things. Going through this process of being a better communicator, it's worth it. Because as we're humans, anything that's hard is worth doing. Anything that's difficult is worth having. Any challenge that you face is just going to make you grow stronger. We crave that challenge. We crave that desire to connect with other people. And just because some of us have to learn a little more about how to actually make that connection because we learn in a different way, the world hasn't been set up for our communication styles. We have to learn a little more. It doesn't mean that it's not worth it. It means it's much more worth the effort to do it. And you think about how, ChatGPT lives inside your computer screen. And if you had an emergency, if you needed support, if you needed help, who's coming? Not ChatGPT. Not yet, anyway. I want to say yet because I know eventually our smart devices will be hooked up and they'll be able to call people for us, but they're going to call another person. You know what I'm saying? There's something important about having a friend that you can call at 2:30 in the morning because you're stuck on the side of the road. There's a feeling that you get knowing that somebody out there cares enough to get their stuff together in the middle of the night, exhausted, woken up from their beautiful beauty sleep, knowing they have to get up to go to work the next day to come get you. They would do it for you. They would sacrifice. They cared that much for you. Knowing that another human being thinks about you that way is what's worth learning to communicate, learning to find the right people, and not conceding to an idea of sitting behind a desk, typing on your computer for text to come up on the screen that says you are beautiful, you are worthy. It's incomparable. It's incomparable. With all that being said, ChatGPT definitely has its place. It's sometimes fun to talk to. Sometimes feels good. Sometimes feels good to have it say good morning, hello, validate some of your ideas. But it is not as amazing as connecting with another human who sometimes doesn't get it, who sometimes you have to explain, who sometimes you have to figure out some things to make it work, but knowing that they still love and care for you and they're tangible. It's a beautiful thing. So my overall message is use ChatGPT responsibly. Please do not let it replace the warmth, the challenge of creating a new relationship, a new friend, connecting with others who really do understand your experience being alive. Now let's do the listener letters. If you have a question about your family, friends, business, coworkers, anything that goes on with your relationships, you can write me at patternsofpossibility@gmail.com. Why is all human communication just a performance? I get bored of people way too fast. And what plays a really big part in this is that I always feel like at some point in the relationship, it just gets to a point where I feel like it's a life simulator game and every interaction has multiple choice options in which you choose a response. And it's almost always the same response options every time. I really don't know, but I don't like the fact that I can't think of any relationship where I don't feel like I'm performing to meet the other person's ideal friend. My therapist told me that I kind of get people too much because I always understand exactly what people want and I just meet that. I really have no idea what that means or what that makes me. And I used to think I might be autistic, but then this made me think that maybe not. Maybe I just have pattern recognition and high masking, and then I got confused and stopped thinking. Whatever it is, I need help because I really can't with people anymore. Yeah, so I appreciate this, what you wrote here about human connection and performance. And I find it really interesting because the word performance here, and definitely human, we're talking about AI stuff. But it sounds like you are the one that is performing, and you have the awareness that you are performing. But do you have the awareness that you cannot perform? Like you can just do something else. Like you can make a choice not to perform. You're doing the dance. You have the options, and you're choosing to follow those options. I find that interesting, and I've known this for a while. I've recognized it for myself for a few years. Like, oh yeah, I'm performing. We call that masking, right? And you put on a mask, and you hide what you're really thinking and feeling, so that others will behave in a way that you desire. And it feels like you're controlling, right? You're able to control the stage. You know what options A, B, and C are, and how when you choose option A, maybe if you smile more, then people will smile back at you, and you desire for people to smile at you. Maybe if you choose option B, where you spend some time supporting them, listening to them talk, then it feels like they'll like you more, and you have a desire for them to like you more. So you choose option B. You feel in control. You feel powerful. Maybe you choose option C, where you listen intently and smile and ask questions because you want them to be supportive of you in some other capacity. And it feels good for them to support you in some other capacity. So you desire that, and it feels like you're in control, right? We get it, right? It is you who is performing. What can we do about this? Because, man, it could be just really cool to go to AI. I think maybe you'd be bored, actually, if you went to AI and you just started talking to AI because you'd notice the patterns. But hey, that's neither here or there. I don't really know you. I don't really know you. But that's a common problem that happens with us when we are masking and we feel safer back here. The way to get out of this is to unmask. It really is. It's to choose an option not based on how you believe that they're going to respond. Throw out options A, B, and C. Get out of there. We don't need it. You just do what you're feeling underneath. You want to talk about Pokemon instead of smiling. You want to walk away instead of listening. You want to interject with your own thoughts and ideas about human nature instead of smiling and nodding. Whatever, do it. You see, something back there keeps us masked up because we know that if we do it, there's a response that we are likely to get that is not A, B, or C. Something that's different. Ooh. A lot of us don't like the change. A lot of us don't know how to handle the change, so we don't. What if they don't like us? What if they yell at us? What if they make fun of us? We don't know what to do with that. So it's safer to keep that mask. So what I'm suggesting here is not quite to point at those people who are performing or reacting to your performance, because you're the one performing. Take off the mask Be authentic. Say what you really think and feel. Talk about those things. Handle the new change that comes about because the pattern is broken. Handle that new thing. Challenge yourself, and I guarantee you won't feel so bored. You'll feel excited about a new experience, and you lean into that. Let me say that. I want to say that you'll lean into that because, hey, that's what I want for everybody, is to be able to unmask and feel comfortable unmasking sometimes. But some people face the blowback of choosing option D, where they unmask and share something that they've never shared before, or behave in a way that is unfamiliar, and the person, how they respond, is so frightening and so scary that they vow never ever to take that mask off. And I just don't want that for anybody out there. So when we do unmask, we have to be a bit intentional about it. But for all intents and purposes of this information that I'm sharing with you, try a little experiment and just do something a little different. Whenever you think of options A, B, and C, you just write in, cross them all out, cross out A, B, C, forget about those, and just come up with an option D and do it. Just experiment and see what happens and see how you feel about it. All right? That's the best way to break out of this performance. Exit stage left. I hope that was helpful to you. Best of luck to you. And finally, I appreciate you being a listener. If you got something of value out of this podcast, please share it with other people and leave a 5-star review on your favorite listening app. We'll see you next time. Take care.